Have you ever met someone who just talks and talks about their big dreams? You know exactly who I mean. They envision the massive success, the money, the completely different lifestyle. Maybe they've even enthusiastically sketched it all out for you on a coffee shop napkin. You're probably picturing this person right now, right? But honestly, maybe, just maybe, you're actually picturing yourself. They imagine it so clearly and they fully believe they're capable of it. But day after day, year after year, absolutely nothing changes. They literally never take that first real step.
Well, welcome to this explainer. I am incredibly thrilled to have you here today because we are going to unpack the exact psychology behind this phenomenon. And hey, I've got some good news for you right out of the gate. Behavioral science tells us that this inaction, it's not a moral failing. It's really not just laziness. It is actually a fascinating series of psychological tricks our own minds play on us to keep us safe.
So here's our agenda for today. We're looking at 5 counterintuitive psychological traps. 1. The dreamer's paradox. 2. Fake progress and hidden fear. 3. Waiting and overthinking. 4. The identity mismatch. And finally, number 5, addicted to potential. Let's dive right into section 1, the dreamer's paradox, or why big dreams don't equal action. Here is the fundamental paradox of the dreamer. Someone can clearly visualize their end goal and entirely believe they have what it takes, yet there is this massive disconnect in their day-to-day actions. Now, if you have ever beaten yourself up over this, I want to validate you right now. Psychology shows us that it's not laziness. A lack of action absolutely does not mean you lack ambition. Instead, this disconnect is caused by a set of deep, hidden defense mechanisms. Your mind is basically doing exactly what it evolved to do. It's trying to protect you. Which brings us to section 2, fake progress and hidden fear, or the brain's dopamine trap. Psychologically speaking, simply imagining your goals can give your brain a massive hit of dopamine. Seriously, when you constantly envision your future success, your brain releases satisfaction, almost as if you've already done the hard work. But actual real progress, that requires risk. It forces you to actually face reality. Because your brain is already getting its chemical reward just from thinking about it, it physically reduces your urgency to execute the plan. You basically end up confusing daydreaming with actual progress. And this right here is what traps you in the planning phase. Think of this as a safe harbor where a dream remains perfectly intact purely because it's never actually tested by reality. So what's really hiding beneath all that motivation to constantly plan? Honestly, it's the fear of failure. People don't lack ambition, they just fear what happens if they actually try and fail. As long as you stay in this cozy little planning phase, constantly researching and endlessly dreaming, you don't risk your self-image. Your dream gets to stay totally safe from the messy real world. Moving right along to section 3, waiting and overthinking, or paralysis by analysis. There is a fantastic quote from psychological research that says, readiness often comes after action, not before. This is a massive aha insight. We so often make the excuse that we're just waiting for the exact right moment to start. But listen, if you're waiting to feel perfectly ready, you are going to wait forever. That perfect, magical time simply never arrives. The act of moving forward is what actually creates the feeling of readiness, not the other way around. Because here is exactly what happens when you wait. Your brain analyzes every step, every outcome, every single possibility. You turn over every what if. You research roadblocks. You map out 5 different contingency plans. Your brain is running an absolute marathon up there, while your body sits perfectly still. This constant cognitive load rapidly drains your internal energy reserves. It is completely exhausting. And the result of all that mental marathon running, you do nothing. By the time the actual moment to act finally arrives, you're already way too tired to move forward. The overthinking has created such an intense level of mental exhaustion that you just freeze up. Your gas tank is completely empty before the journey even begins. All right, section 4, the identity mismatch, or when your self-view blocks your success. Let's slow down for a second and explore a much heavier psychological barrier. We're talking about identity. You see, our minds completely crave consistency. So if you have these big dreams of success, but you secretly hold a core belief that says, I'm not disciplined or I never finish things, you've got an identity mismatch. Your brain will inherently resist doing the work. It really doesn't matter how exciting the dream is. If your internal self-view doesn't match the goal, your brain is going to sabotage your efforts. Taking action requires becoming someone entirely different. And frankly, that is terrifying to the human ego. No matter what your ambition is, taking real steps forces a complete and usually uncomfortable shift in your personal identity. To achieve the dream, you literally have to let go of your current self. And your brain? Well, it will fight tooth and nail to keep you exactly who you are right now.
And finally, Section 5, Addicted to Potential, or the illusion versus the work.
This brings us to the ultimate saboteur. Talking about big dreams feels super exciting. It's safe. It creates this wonderful sense of future possibility and potential. But the reality of effort, real progress is repetitive. It's slow. It is highly uncomfortable, and honestly, it's often really, really boring. When you weigh these two realities against each other, it makes total sense why staying attached to the illusion of future potential feels so much better than rolling up your sleeves and actually doing the hard work. Constantly talking about your dreams functions as a literal psychological addiction. It acts as an escape mechanism from who you are right now. Staying deeply attached to the idea of who you could be helps you completely avoid the immense discomfort of facing your current reality, along with the grueling work required to actually change it. But here is the hard truth we all need to walk away with today. Big dreams aren't rare. Making them real is. Having the dream is absolutely wonderful, but it really is only half the battle. We all have imaginations, right? But the realization of those dreams requires stepping out of the comfortable illusion of your mind and stepping into the messy, real world. The real difference between the dreamer and the doer isn't talent. The question is, will you act even when your mind is working against you? Now that you understand these psychological traps, the fake dopamine progress, the hidden fear, the mental exhaustion of overthinking, and that tricky identity mismatch, you actually have the power to bypass them. It takes real courage to stop dreaming and start doing. So, what is the one real step you are going to take today?